Jess had never liked the night. The city streets looked like veins of shadow stretched across a dark, pulsing heart. Neon signs flickered intermittently, their harsh light illuminating puddles that reflected faces that weren't really there. But that night, the darkness called her attention for a reason far stranger than mere urban gloom. She was locking the door of her small apartment when she heard it, a low, panicked whimper, almost drowned by the distant hum of traffic. She froze. At first, she thought it was a stray animal. But then she saw him, a small boy crouched by the steps of the fire escape, his brown hair matted, eyes wide with a terror that seemed far too old for his young face. He looked like a fragment of someone else's nightmare, out of place and trembling. Hey, Jess said softly, kneeling. Are you okay? The boy flinched, hugging himself. He's coming, he whispered. He'll get me. Something in her chest twisted. She couldn't leave him there. She took a cautious step forward. Come with me, she said. You'll be safe inside. He hesitated. Then, slowly, reluctantly, he followed her. Inside her apartment, Jess offered him water and a warm blanket. He took both with shaking hands, his eyes darting to every shadow, as if expecting them to spring to life. I'm Jess, she said gently. What's your name? He hesitated, then whispered, Eli. Over the next few nights, Jess began noticing odd things. Objects seemed slightly out of place, shadows stretched longer than physics would allow, and sometimes a low growl would echo from corners of her apartment that had no source. One evening, as Jess helped Eli with a sandwich, a sharp crash came from the living room. A vase she hadn't touched lay shattered on the floor. Eli's eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean to, he said. It just happened. Jess knelt to meet his gaze. What do you mean, it just happened? He swallowed hard. When I get scared, bad things happen. I can't control it. It's like the fear becomes real. Jess's stomach turned. What kind of things? He looked down at his hands. Monsters. Shadows. They come from me. From my head. I'm dangerous. She swallowed, forcing a calm she didn't feel. Eli, you're not dangerous. We'll figure this out. But over the next days, the manifestations grew stronger. One morning, Jess woke to find the apartment drenched in a cold mist, shadows crawling along the walls, whispering her name. She turned to Eli, who sat on the couch, eyes wide, hands trembling. They're angry, he said softly. They want me to be afraid. And they'll hurt you too. Fear clawed at her chest, but she forced herself to focus. Then we fight them. Together. Night after night, Jess and Eli tried to evade the horrors. They barricaded doors, hung charms, and lit every candle they could find. But wherever Eli's fear took form, it always followed. Figures would appear at the edge of her vision, monstrous shapes that flickered when she tried to look directly at them. One night, Jess heard a soft, eerie whisper, "Run. Run, Jess. Don't stop." She turned. Eli was gone. Panic surged. She ran to the bedroom, then the bathroom, but the boy was nowhere. Then she heard it, a guttural growl, low and menacing, coming from the kitchen. Jess gripped a heavy lamp and crept toward the sound. There, in the flickering candlelight, she saw him, Eli, but not as she knew him. Shadows clung to him like a second skin, twisting his small frame. His eyes glowed unnaturally. "It's okay," Jess said, her voice trembling. "I'm here. It's just us." Eli's lips trembled. I I can't stop it. Jess stepped closer. Yes, you can. You're stronger than your fear. I'm not going anywhere. And for a moment, he looked human again. The shadows faltered. But the peace was short-lived. The apartment walls groaned, the floorboards shuddered, and the shadows erupted into violent forms. Dark, wolf-like creatures, teeth glinting, eyes burning, lunged toward Jess and Eli. Jess grabbed the boy. "Run!" she screamed. They bolted through the apartment, shadows snapping at their heels. Each step was a fight against the night, against the fear that Eli carried in his small body. They burst into the hallway, but the air was thick with darkness. Every corner hid a new horror, every doorway a lurking threat. Then, a sudden realization hit Jess. The fear was feeding on itself. If Eli could face it, if he could confront it, it might lose its power. "Eli," she shouted. "Look at me. Look at me, not them." His eyes met hers, wide with terror. "I'm scared," he whispered. "I know you are," she said. "And that's okay. But you're not alone. Not ever." For the first time, Eli didn't look away. Slowly, he raised his head. The shadows paused, as if sensing the shift. "Face it," Jess urged. "Don't let it control you." A roar split the night. The wolf-like creatures lunged, and Eli's scream pierced the darkness. But then, something miraculous happened. The shadows began to waver, thinning, retreating. The wolves dissolved into mist. The apartment, though battered, was quiet. Jess fell to her knees, hugging him. "You did it," she whispered. Eli sobbed, burying his face in her shoulder. I think it's gone." For the first time in days, they slept in silence. The shadows did not return. But Jess knew it was temporary. Fear, she realized, never truly dies. It waits, lurking in the corners of the mind, in the depths of the night. Over the coming weeks, Jess helped Eli regain some normalcy. They planted a small garden on her balcony, read stories together, and slowly, the boy began to laugh again. But every so often, he would pause, stare at a shadow, and Jess would see the flicker of fear in his eyes. And in those moments, she whispered the words that had saved them both: "You are stronger than your fear. Always. And I am with you." Even in the darkest shadows, even when the world seemed to twist around them, Jess knew that courage and love could hold back the night. The wolf could always come home, but they would be ready. And so, in the city of veins and shadows, two unlikely souls survived, carrying a light strong enough to pierce even the deepest darkness.